Have you ever been in the moment, things are heating up, everything feels right, and then that dreaded thought creeps into your mind? Is it going to stay? Am I going to lose it? And the more you worry about it, the more you can physically feel it start to fade. It is one of the most uniquely frustrating and isolating experiences a man can go through because it seems to come from nowhere, and the harder you try to stop it, the faster it slips away. What makes this worse is that our instincts in that moment are almost always wrong. You feel yourself panicking and your brain screams at you to fix it, to do something, to force your way through, to push harder, faster, stronger, as if you can wrestle your body back into cooperation. But here's the paradox, and this is the entire key to solving the issue. The very things your brain instinctively tells you to do in order to save your erection are the exact same things that guarantee you'll lose it. It feels like a cruel trick of biology, but once you understand the mechanism behind it, you realize it's not your fault, you're not broken, and you actually can retrain your mind and body to respond in a completely different way. In this video, we're going to unpack the 3 most common mental mistakes men make that sabotage their erections without ever realizing it, and I'll show you the simple shifts in focus that can fix them, allowing you to stay present, confident, and deeply connected with your partner no matter what. But before we dive into the mistakes themselves, we need to take a step back and look at the one fundamental biological process that's really in control of all of this. Because at the end of the day, an erection is not about willpower, it's not about force, it's not even about sexual technique, it's about biology, and biology always wins. Think of your body as being governed by 2 competing forces, like 2 teams constantly tugging at opposite ends of a rope. On one side, you have your parasympathetic nervous system, the branch of your body that governs rest, relaxation, digestion, intimacy, and yes, sexual arousal. When this system is in control, your blood vessels relax, your circulation flows freely, and the arteries leading into the penis open wide like a garden hose with the spigot fully turned on. That open hose is what allows blood to rush in and be trapped in the erectile chambers, creating firmness and rigidity. This is the state your body needs to be in to not only achieve but maintain an erection. But on the other side of the rope, pulling with equal or often greater force, is your sympathetic nervous system. This is your survival mode, your fight or flight instinct, and it's powered by one very familiar hormone, adrenaline. Adrenaline is not evil, it is the reason your ancestors survived lions, fires, and battlefields. It primes you to run fast, fight hard, and react to danger without hesitation. But adrenaline is also a vasoconstrictor, which is just a technical way of saying it squeezes your blood vessels shut. It slams the spigot of the garden hose closed, redirecting that blood away from non-essential functions like sex and into your large muscles so you can sprint or fight. And here's the brutal truth: adrenaline and erections cannot coexist. It's biologically impossible. Every single mistake men make in the bedroom boils down to one thing. They accidentally trigger this adrenaline surge in moments where what they actually need is calm, openness, and flow. This is why trying harder never works. You can't outmuscle your own nervous system. You can't force an erection back into being while your body is literally shutting the hose off. Understanding this single truth is liberating, because once you see adrenaline as the enemy in this context, every mental mistake suddenly makes sense and the solutions become clear. Let's start with the first mistake, which I call the pregame checkup. This one actually happens long before you're even in bed with your partner. You're on your way to a date, maybe in the car or getting ready in the bathroom, and that nervous little thought creeps in: am I going to be able to perform tonight? And before you even realize what you're doing, you start testing yourself. You might adjust yourself in your pants, give yourself a little touch to see if things are working, or even go so far as to try and wake it up just to make sure you're capable. You're looking for reassurance, proof that everything is fine. The problem is, by turning it into a test, you've already set yourself up for failure. Because here's what happens. Let's say you do that little check, and as is perfectly normal, nothing much happens. After all, you're not aroused yet. You're driving, brushing your teeth, or nervously pacing around. But instead of realizing that, your brain interprets the lack of immediate response as evidence that something is wrong. And the second that thought hits, your anxiety spikes. Your body reads that anxiety as a potential threat, and boom, it releases adrenaline. Remember what adrenaline does? It shuts the hose, which means that when you finally are with your partner, you've already primed your body for failure. The solution is not to test, not to seek proof, but to trust the process. On that drive or while you're getting ready, don't focus on your hardware, focus on anticipation. Think about your partner's laugh, their smell, the way their body feels against yours. Engage in mental foreplay. Build the story in your head, because desire is what naturally turns the switch on later, not a forced audit before the show. Trust your body, stop the checkups, and you'll be surprised how much smoother things go. Now let's talk about the second mistake, the one that usually hits in the heat of the moment. You're with your partner, things are going well, and then you feel it maybe just a little dip in firmness, a small change in sensation. Instantly your internal alarm bells go off, you panic, and your survival brain gives you the order, fix it now. So what do? You start thrusting faster, harder, more frantically, as if sheer friction will push the blood back in. But this is the worst possible response, because biologically, what are you actually doing? You're raising your heart rate, tensing your muscles, straining your body in a way that mimics panic and exertion. Your brain reads this struggle as stress, and stress equals danger, and danger means more adrenaline. And what does more adrenaline do? That's right, it closes the hose even tighter. In other words, the more you try to fight your way back with force, the faster you lose the very thing you're trying to save. So what's the solution? Do the opposite. When you feel that moment of softness, resist the panic. Slow down, pause, take a deep breath, hold your partner close, kiss them, whisper to them, feel their body against yours, change positions to something less demanding. Instead of amplifying the struggle, amplify the intimacy. By calming yourself, by signaling to your brain that there is no threat here, you shut off the adrenaline response and reopen the blood flow. You literally create the conditions where your body can bring the erection back naturally. And the beauty is, your partner will almost always appreciate this shift, because what feels to you like failure actually becomes an opportunity for deeper connection. Finally, let's look at the third mistake, the one that happens entirely inside your head, becoming the performance monitor. This is when you mentally step out of the moment and start spectating your own body. Instead of being immersed in the experience, your inner monologue is running quality control checks. How's it doing? Is it hard enough? Am I losing it? What if they know? You're no longer making love, you're giving yourself an anxious exam, and because all of your attention is focused inward, you're cutting yourself off from the very sensory input that fuels arousal. Arousal doesn't live in your thoughts, it lives in what you see, hear, touch, smell, taste, and feel emotionally. When you shine the spotlight of your attention onto your own penis, you turn it away from your partner and you starve the system of the sensory fuel it needs to keep going. Worse, this constant monitoring is at its core a form of anxiety, and what does anxiety do? Once again, it floods your body with adrenaline and the cycle repeats. The solution here is something I like to call sensory focus. It's a practice like meditation, where you catch yourself drifting into monitoring mode and deliberately redirect your focus back to the present experience. Anchor yourself in one of your senses. Focus on the sight of your partner, the way their body curves, the look in their eyes. Then shift to sound, the rhythm of their breathing, the noises they make. Then touch the warmth of their skin, the softness or firmness beneath your hands. By cycling through your senses, you drown out the anxious monitoring voice with real physical input. You re-enter the experience, and that presence is what naturally sustains arousal without effort. So when you put it all together, the pattern is clear. The three mistakes, the pre-game checkup, speeding up under pressure, and becoming the performance monitor, all seem logical in the moment, but all three are simply different ways of accidentally triggering adrenaline, and adrenaline is the biological kill switch for an erection. The good news is that the solutions are just as unified. In every case, the key is to shift your focus away from performance and onto presence, away from anxiety and onto connection, away from trying to make it happen and toward creating the conditions where it naturally happens. When you stop forcing and start feeling, when you stop testing and start trusting, when you stop monitoring and start connecting, you give your body permission to do exactly what it was designed to do. And in that space of calm, intimacy, and confidence, you not only preserve your erection, you deepen the entire experience for both you and your partner.